never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the championship.
What a way to start this episode. Man, well, you know what? It's okay. It's okay that I'm kind of rankled right now. It gets me pumped up for the remainder of the show. You're watching Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister, the one and only Paleocrat, every single Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, 10 to midnight, if we can make it at 10. And by the way, on a positive note, okay, a little bit, do I sound okay? Let's see if I can get this up just a little bit more. Let's see if I can get it a little bit higher. How about that? How about that? Yeah. Because see, here's the deal. Here's the deal. For a long time, I've been trying to figure out this mic and never do it. And so I had a friend of mine come over, and some of you may have actually seen this. Some of you may have seen this because I accidentally streamed it. So you saw the celebratory moment where we'd been working for like an hour and a half. And I didn't just stream it over mine. In fact, I didn't stream it on my channels at all. Not at all. I'm sorry. Frontline Joe and Joe, Arana Nation, and I think there was one other one, man. They had this weird video. But hey, it had likes. It had likes. It even had shares. It was like 2 minutes long. Obviously not on purpose. That's how much people love this stuff. But man, so I start to show up. I'm here on time. Everything's in place. I share the thumbnail, which by the way, it's a great thumbnail. It's a good one. Okay, my wife's been helping me with this stuff. In fact, we've got a really cool feature, one of the panels that we're going to use during the meme section today, that my wife, she constructed it. It's really cool, brand new. So you're going to definitely love that. But for some reason, it wasn't working. Everything in place, working for hours, finally figure this out. And I play it, and I can't hear, which that's the other thing, too. I can hear my voice now in these headphones. You don't even know. You don't even know. I have hated speaking in a room where you can hear yourself echo off the walls. I don't know how other guys do it. You know, they think I'm a weirdo. They're like, how is it that you can talk with headphones on? For the same reason that singers do. Okay? You work on radio long enough and you get these, you know, these aren't necessarily the greatest. They're good for editing. Okay, but I want to get some really cool ones, colorful, pink like the Skogies. Because the Skogies, I mean, they're superior in some ways. I think they're like $10. You know. But I can finally hear myself and everything, but the video wasn't working. But now it is, so we're going to just move on. I'll tell you. It is an amazing show today. We have a whole bunch. In fact, I even printed it up here. Okay. I got some notes. And I don't do that too often. I use a computer. I don't need any notes normally. Okay. Don't need any notes normally. Here, let's go ahead and pull up the, oh boy. Yeah. Gonna have to, there we go. There we go. So, a whole bunch of these amazing topics, but before we begin with topics, I have to kind of say something about an individual, and I almost forgot about this, and I can't forget about it. Many of you, in fact, may know this individual, okay, or you may have read his work, things like that. Let's go ahead and see if we can go ahead and do the window capture for this. Might have to redo the window capture. See, this is the thing. It falls apart. It falls apart. Jonathan, you need to I need to figure out how to have you on this the whole time. And that way nothing ever happens. Okay, nothing's ever a problem, man. Not when you're in control. Except for when you don't put me on Twitter. Okay? But I'll just start talking about this now. Anthony Cicotta. Father Anthony Cicotta. He is a He was a sedevacantist. Okay, so he was a traditionalist. He was part of the SSPX early days. He was one of those who left over the controversy concerning sedevacantism, meaning that they had come to the conclusion that the what we call the ordinary form in the Catholic Church, the Novus Ordo, okay, done in the vernacular. There's a lot of changes that happen. The changes, things with Vatican II, Vatican II entirely, okay, for them, mostly, and they have a lot of issues. They take a lot of issue with the. They take a lot of issue with the changes that took place in the church. Okay, that's the easiest way to put it. And a lot of them have separated themselves. We're going to go ahead and just get this over.
Yeah.
I
love you, Angela.
And were we service?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, listen to him. He's like all quiet now.
Man. This is the worst way. This is the worst way. Ah. Dang it. The worst way you can start. And you know what it is? It's because I didn't wear the stinking mask. I was supposed to be an example. I was supposed to wear a mask. Dang it. Oh, let's hope that it's all in order now. Woo! Okay. Anthony Cicada, sedevacantist. Okay. Many other things, in fact. He passed away. I didn't even know. I used to be a sedevacantist for a long time. Okay, now that we're in the groove, and I apologize for those first 5 minutes. We're going to delete that. We're taking it out, man. It's gone. So the thing is, I used to be someone who rejected Vatican II, someone who rejected the ordinary form of the Mass. And Father Cicada was somebody that was really important. And in fact, even when I came back into communion with Rome, submitted myself to the bishop, I go to a church that's diocesan and full communion, not even a question about it. Even then, I had some respect for what I believe to be the authenticity of his heart. You know, I can't judge his heart, but I always appreciated a lot of the criticisms, not all of them, but a lot of the criticisms and concerns that he had. And I loved his music. But there's MillerFunerals.com has an obituary to him. And I just, there's a lot of things in there that I was going to talk about. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do that. I encourage you to just go ahead and just check it out yourself. But I will say this, okay? This thing here, it says he was an avid and prolific writer on topics ranging from theology and modern questions to liturgy and traditionalist controversies, like some of those I mentioned just a moment ago. He produced an accurate translation of the Ottaviani Intervention. I believe that's the one that I read. The Problem with the Prayers of the New Mass, that has over 15,000 sold. And the practical and ever-popular Welcome to the Traditional Latin Mass, I have that. And The Problem of Authority, I also have that. Father Cicada's great life's work is the definitive study of the new Mass, work of human hands. I do not own that. Okay, there's nearly 5,000 copies in print. If anybody has that and would like to throw it my way, it's one of those books that I would love to have in my library. Okay, but I've seen videos. He has videos on it and things like that. He takes it too far. Okay, sedevacantism as a whole takes it too far. Legit criticisms in many ways, off the rails in others. They play that whole, Sister Cleo, magic crystal ball thing. They do that. One wonders how he found time for all of it. It's true. But it said his numerous YouTube videos delight, edify, and educate, presenting the traditional Catholic position. But that he spent a great deal of time with youth. That was a major deal for him. So I wanted to say that. All right. So, now that we've said that, now that we have gotten to this point, okay, We're on a roll now. Okay, we can do this, folks. We can do this. We've got a whole bunch to talk about tonight. I decided to make it relatively thematic. Okay? I wanted to make it a little bit thematic and talk about, you know, the election, right? 2020, in light of elections past, in light of presidencies past, tactics past, and also to sit there and to evaluate the tactics that they're using now, the ways that the left has learned. Because they have. The deep state has learned. Why wouldn't they? They know a ton about us. Okay? They know tons about us. Big tech. They've learned. And remember, when Trump won in 2016, when Hillary lost, remember that next day, all over the world, globalists and technocrats were weeping. They were weeping as it was coming in. Terrified, mortified, stupefied by how this happened. They don't understand us. They don't know much. It's weird. They don't know much about the history of the deplorables. I have a podcast on that. You ought to check it out. The rise and triumph of Trump's deplorables. You can find that on my YouTube channel. You know, but the thing is, they were terrified, freaked out, crying, having meetings with each other. Like Google. Remember that? Homeboy over at Google. There's a lot of you. He has his microphone. There's a whole bunch of you right now that are totally devastated. Devastated. We're gonna figure out how to ensure that this never happens again. Oh, but that's not election meddling. Extra, extra, read all about it. Promising to meddle in elections isn't election meddling. Blah! It makes no sense. But it's what they promised. And they've been doing it for 4 years. People say, what, you believe there's collusion? Yes, man. Duh. Don't you see it? Open up your eyes. But it's gone out of control. Right? This is one of the reasons I'm not a critical theorist. And, you know, it's easy to get wrapped up when talking about critical theory. It's easy to get wrapped up in current events and talking about critical race theory. That's an extension of it. But critical theory is this hypodermic needle concept of media that says, you know, the way that information and news works, it's got this immediate effect. And you can, if you think about that, it makes sense of virtue signaling. It makes sense of pressuring people to say the right words, even if it's not in their heart. Just say it. Just come on. Just say the words. The fear of people's presence being somewhere. That's somehow violence. Blah, blah. You know, but critical theory is the idea that there's an immediate effect. I reject that. I reject that. Okay? And in part because of what we're seeing now. You can see the masters of the universe. And they're all trying to manipulate information, manipulate people and algorithms. Doing little bits at a time, sometimes full blast. I mean, it's like a psyop, man. Major time psychological ramifications on a society. When Zuckerberg says, I'm really hoping that I don't destroy society. You are right. What? Well, at least he's kind of being honest, maybe. You know, he's like, I just want to tinker and do what I'm doing without any consequences. But it doesn't have an immediate hypodermic effect. People still resist. Which is why you had Bernie Sanders. That was like, what? I thought we got rid of him. I thought he took a back seat. He wasn't seeming to do a whole bunch in between. It's the reason for Harris. It's the reason for this resurgence of the witches. Black Lives Matter. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the fact, the interesting thing that Trump that the left has this Trump derangement syndrome so badly that even if Trump is signing and being part of an accord that involves the peace and security of Israel and the Jews, they still compare him to Hitler. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the claims that we're enduring right now, a color revolution. I believe this, actually. I believe this. I think you can see the writing on the wall with that. The idea of critical race theory still in schools. The Cutie director has come out and made the claim, this is about feminism. We're trying to bring awareness to sexualization of kids. Well, really? Yeah, because in the end, there was that moment where they're like, and everything you just did is really immoral. Do you repent of that? No. It was liberating to these little girls. How are people not going to watch that and be like, if I twerk and move, my rear end like that, doing that on the concrete, maybe I'll be liberated from the patriarchy. That's the message. We're going to talk about coronavirus. Whether or not the Democrats are voting for Biden or for Harris. You maybe heard that. It's kind of weird. Both of them have said the Harris-Biden administration. What's up with that? What's up with that? Is that kind of like when Catholic churches change the missal around to be sensitive, to sit there and say, and you, my sisters and brothers, which, by the way, it doesn't even flow the same way. It's a goofy flow to that. My sisters and brothers and sisters. Same thing. And we're going to talk about why this idea, this coup, the idea of this color revolution, the masters of the universe, these puppet masters, why it's backfiring, and how we can be confident in that. And say, look around you. They went too far. They cranked up the heat too much. We have a whole bunch of topics to talk about. But, like I said, we're going to go ahead and, there's this phrase that death comes in threes, right? The idea that death comes in threes. I already talked about Father Chicata for a second. I thought I had, hold on a second. Here we go. Here's one. New York City's Museum of Natural History to remove Teddy Roosevelt statue, officials say. They already did it, I believe. They already did it. It's a beautiful statue, by the way. Powerful. On a horse. Native American with him. African man with him. Powerful. But he's gone. They're like, look, we're done with you. We're done with you, buddy. We're removing you. And it's not just him. Was it Thomas Jefferson, too? I mean, look, for crying out loud, if you don't think they're coming for your heritage, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. I've been told that. Why? Do you really think that they're coming after you? Do you really think that they're coming after your heritage and your beliefs and your value? Yes, dude. It's on full display. We're not coming after your traditions and your values. We're just destroying the foundations of them to replace them with our system. It's war, man. I hate to say this. It is war. War. They're waging war. This isn't... What the heck? Here's another death. As I said, comes in threes. Here's this one. Listen to this. Southern Baptist Convention to rename itself in nod to Black Lives Matter movement by Richard Moorhead. Where's this? Big League Politics. You got to go check them out. It's a social justice church now. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at this loon bird. Oh, this guy. Yeah, total Looney Tune wacko. But you know what? The writing's been on the wall for the Baptists for a long time. You know, I'm so sorry to say this. The failure of American Anabaptism is a real thing. Documented brilliantly, in fact, in a, what is it? What would you call it? A symposium? Edited by Gary North. Let's see here. Oh, look at that. Our Lord Jesus was not a white southerner, but a brown-skinned Middle Eastern refugee. The organization's president, J.D. Greer, told the Washington Post. No, okay. The church is going to rename itself Great Commission Baptists. And I agree with this. It's actually, look, that's well and good. It kind of follows, you know, it's kind of following a little bit in the wake of a lot of these Christian Reformed churches anyway. You know, we had one in town, and Methodist churches, and Presbyterian, and any of these kind of mainstay churches. There was a time when the seeker sensitivity movement was really kicking into gear, and everybody's watering the gospel down really badly for hypothetical seekers, right? They would, if you just tone it down in the beginning, they're going to come in and be like, well, I'll accept all of this. No, I don't think so. You know, but they were changing names. And there was one, it's like Christian Reformed Church at Battle Creek, right? Or something like that. Battle Creek Christian Reformed Church. And they changed it to Riverwalk. There was another one that was like Fire Feet or something weird. Fire Fountain. I don't know. It was all these weird named churches all over the place that used to be something like, you know, First Methodist of Battle Creek. So you see these groups doing that at a denominational level. I don't know about that so much. Southern Baptists are doing it, though. Says right here, other imagery and references to the southern nature of the denomination is expected to be removed from public view. The Southern Baptist Convention used to be a boogeyman for old school liberals, but now it's just another mainline church akin to the notoriously liberal Episcopal and Presbyterian churches. Here, listen, what do these people not do they not understand how this works? Are they completely unfamiliar with history? It's like they believe that they're reinventing a wheel or something. This is an original idea. We're going to cave and change our position because of the political whims and fancies of people who don't even belong to our group. Episcopalians did it. Look at them. It's a joke. It is a joke. We're going to make it so that we have ladies, and the ladies can be the ministers, Reverend Joy. That's not going to change much. I remember Reverend Joy, Mother Joy, they called her. There's a lady in Battle Creek. That's not going to change much. Oh, except that the promotional calendar that they made was a bunch of ladies naked. Old ladies, by the way. Right, Chester, but it was at least discreet. You know what I mean? It was discreet. For what it's worth, I guess. At pews with their hands like this, nude and stuff. My wife, she worked at Staples at the time. And she worked in the copy center. She had to print those buggers. And they wanted to make, what are they, man? Those placemats for the food. Right? So you have them on the table. And you eat your food over top of Maud and her boobs. What a joke. Totally irreverent, man. I mean, they're all sitting there acting all righteous and holy in the naked. I saw her one time. Personally. And it was an intimate setting, actually, because we were in this house. It was really cool. It actually was like an old schoolhouse from the 1800s, early 1900s. Beautiful, kind of cool building, man. The stairs. So, I mean, it felt like a school. It was a school. And so we're all sitting there. It was a friend of mine was confirmed, but his wife was still Episcopalian. he was part of our confirmation group. And so on Easter, okay, we all go over to the house for a celebration, and old Mother Joy rolls in. She rolls in, and everybody's, oh, Mother Joy this, Mother Joy that. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And I'd been just slamming her, calling her Shira, right? Just slamming her on TV. I mean, she had to know who I was, right? And she comes in and they ask, would you please lead us in prayer? It was one of these things like, in the name of the parent and of the child and of the divine presence. Amen. And I'm thinking, what did you just do? Just more changes. Just a little tweak here and there. Presbyterian, same thing. The whole inclusivity cabal. Go and look at these denominations. They're freaking dying. They're not even dying. They're dead. They just don't even know it yet. They're literally on their last breath. Made up almost entirely of people, no offense, but people who don't have very long to breathe anymore. And they're just, and not only, but look, that's the way it works. When you bring in these ideas that boomers had on an LSD trip at Woodstock, it makes sense. It makes sense. Oh, dude, I was like mad tripping when I came up with this idea for the church. Listening to Jefferson Airplane. No offense to Jefferson Airplane. But that's what you get. Those are the values. That's where it came from. So now it's all contraception and abortion, LGBTQ, whatever else follows. So it's not recreating itself. There's no transgenerational concept of that. It's not even covenantal. To be covenantal, it has to have a dynamic. This transgenerational has to. So Southern Baptists are toast. Well, they won't be Southern Baptists anymore. So here's the thing. Back to the theme. And again, I apologize for the technical difficulties and the confusion and delays at the beginning of the show. I truly, truly apologize. Here's the thing. This week, okay, posted one day ago, September 16th, media downplays Trump administration's peace agreement and shifts to its usual Trump hate programming. Who's this by? Jose Nino. Okay? Here's the thing about this. So you've got all of these different nations, right? Coming and joining up. The administration's predicting, what, 5 more? Breitbart mentioned Oman is likely to be the next Arab country to normalize its relation with Israel. You have the UAE and Bahrain normalizing relations with Israel. So I go and I watch this live. I go on Facebook. I get these updates, right? These notifications from Facebook. And so the local news place, they're airing it live online. So I go over there and I'm checking it out. And right away, the very first thing I saw was some wacko bird saying, looks like Hitler to me. Because of the way that Trump was standing at the podium or something. I'm like, dude. And he was saying, don't you see the comparisons? Boom. I mean, seriously, what is wrong with this guy? What is wrong? And you know what? Like. It would be generous to say that they're bots, not people. Because then you only have to blame the devious nature of some people. But to see that comment liked the way that it was, and echoed the way that it was, and not just by people in the comment thread, so what, man? Randos, normies. Monday night quarterback in this. They don't know jack. Obviously. Yeah, because, Hitler was all about the preservation and peace of the Jews. And look, I have a lot of criticisms regarding Israel. I have criticisms. I'm not like this guy like 100% in the bag. But I also say, look, man, genocidal maniacs, dude, come on now. Like, whoa. These latest diplomatic accomplishments show the Trump administration's willingness to use smart diplomacy, yes, to bring about proactive solutions in violence-ridden regions of the world. This lies in stark contrast to his defense industry beholden predecessors who impulsively turned to nation building and intervention. Yes. Yeah. This is a deal guy, man. People gotta straight give it up. Deal. Dealio. True. He's kicking tail. It's a totally different way, a totally different approach. My whole life, I have watched as president after president, administrations, right? All these people always sent to try to work something out, to try to make it so that this country would be safe and secure, and that not only that they would be safe and secure, but to say, what benefit is it? What can we do as different countries that work together to incentivize this? Because if you just say disliking Israel naughty, that ain't gonna work. Their feud goes so far back. It's ancient, man. It is ancient. It's religious. It's ethnic. Racial. It's all of this. All bundled together. In a terrible, terrible storm. I like this. The next step would be for the Trump administration to finally purge the administration of residual neoconservative and neoliberal influences and staff it with solid America First conservatives. Look, they needed to do that 4 years ago. They needed to do that 4 years ago. And people will go, oh, well, he has total control. Man, being the president, you have so many people under you and you don't even necessarily pick all of them. And even when you do pick all of them, it's not just simply, this is the guy I would love most of all to be in that position. Politics doesn't work that way. So you've got this background, right? This backdrop of 4 years where people are so consumed with hatred for Donald Trump. They would rather oppose Donald Trump, right? And support this kind of child sexualization crap with Cuties and Netflix and a host of a bazillion other things. I don't just want to focus on that thing. I mean, it's like low-hanging fruit at this point. A bazillion things they would say, look, that are otherwise good. How about not starting a new war? Diplomatic relations with people that in the past the left hated when the neoconservative right said, we don't negotiate. Right? We don't negotiate with terrorists. And they just lumped in, enemies of the state. They didn't negotiate with North Korea. Remember, it took Rodman to go. They didn't want to negotiate with people like Putin. Well, they did a little bit, but it was sly. It was a big lie that they didn't. And they only didn't when they used him as a scapegoat for their own incompetence. Bill Clinton knows why they lost. It's not Putin. But they've hated Trump ever since. They've hated Trump people. They've been using the idea that Trump supporters are Nazis and fascists and xenophobes, transphobes, homophobes, a bunch of obes all over the place. They've been using that for years. But they have to also look ahead, and they said, okay, what do we do? How do we deal with this? Using the whole Nazi shtick doesn't work in and of itself. It's not sufficient. They can say, if you support him, you're a Nazi too. Insufficient. People go, dude, you're a kook. You're a racist. You're a liar and a dummy, and I don't need to listen to you. You're like the weirdo on the street. Okay? Hair all gnarly because looks like you got one big dreadlock because you haven't washed your hair in a long time. And you're shouting, screaming random things on the sidewalk as people are driving by. That's what you come off like, dude. It didn't work. Russia didn't work. They're trying to pull it out now because they have to. Look at all the different things that the left is pulling out right now. There's all the stops. All of them. Even today, Nancy Pelosi coming out, we support protests, but we don't support looting and rioting and violence. They need to be prosecuted. The maximum of the law. Wow, really? You are late, woman. You are late to the party. And not only are you late, but there's a reason why you're late, and you know it. And it's because your side doesn't agree. But enough of America does. You guys have been taken over. The left has been taken over by crazy people, complete loonbirds. Cuckoo. Think about it. On almost any topic at all. And it's forced the establishment of the Dems to be grotesquely hypocritical. We know for a fact that people like Schumer and Pelosi, they have to love the idea, for example, of the peace accords. They have to. They had to love, right? Or at least the more liberal faction, Schumer especially, had to love that the TPP. That Trump's not a neocon, libertarian, conservative. That he plays ball. Secretly, but they can't admit it. Because all of those things that he does that are great, the crazy wacko bird faction of their party views through the lens of everything is Hitler. What do you do with that, man? I feel bad for him. But it's gotten to the point now where they're having to pull out, and this is crazy, man. Not only did they were like, well, we got to get Biden. And this is another, we got to get Biden. You're beholden to Biden. And they were all in. You could see the way the media treated him, the way the superdelegates treated him. But it was obvious that the guy was off of his rocker. His wife is out there right now campaigning. He's barely doing anything. And when he's out there, if anybody brings up something, what? A Cuban guy talking about it. Today, bringing up a critical question regarding immigration, which, by the way, is a big deal to a lot of Cuban people. Biden knows it. And what does he say? Vote for Trump. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Which is why we're seeing the numbers skyrocket. The Trump train is getting big. So what's this whole Biden, they realize, okay, the guy's toast. What are we going to do now? They had to pull out the stops. And so what do? What do? Just like every election year. Go back and look. You think I'm lying about this? Go back and look. They emphasize and piggyback on a tragedy or an unfortunate occasion that's racial. They use it to boost it. They do. It's Rahm Emanuel stuff, man. You don't let, a good tragedy go to waste. Everything's political. So it's what they do. And this time, George Floyd. It was obvious. It was obvious. And now we're finding out, well, okay, man, they confiscated a crack pipe. He was driving. He had a little baggie that he dropped. You can see it in the video, man. Go look at the still shots. You can see pills in his mouth. Swallowing them buggers. He OD'd, what was it, a month before? Or not long before. OD'd doing the same thing. I can't breathe. I don't want to make fun of the guy. I don't want anybody dead. Death happens, yes, but I don't want somebody dead. I'm not going to dance on graves. But that was what they chose to do. And they banked on it. And they banked on it because I think Conservative Treehouse has the background on this. There's a reason why. Because of this guy here. Boom. Now look, I gotta say this. I am suspicious. And look, people are gonna say, dude, that is out there. I am suspicious that we have a COG, a form of COG, or an actual, just however it plays out, in place, a continuity of government plan. There's many. I actually asked somebody about this. In fact, it was the guy that I said I was going to talk about one of his articles a couple weeks ago, a security analyst and stuff. High profiler, right? Wish I remembered his name. Mentioned it to him on Twitter. Brought up the exact COG plan. The idea is, for example, if you truly believe, if an administration and a government, senators, representatives, if they believe, or for whatever their motive is, claim to believe, that a candidate is in fact a shill for an enemy nation, there would be protocol in place to preserve the integrity of the Oval Office. It would be much like, what if the Vatican was taken over, for example? There would be a continuity of government for the Vatican. If it's taken over by an enemy and the Pope had to go into exile, there would still be communication between the Pope and his people and different branches. It would create, in essence, a small group. We see the small group play out. We see it play out with every single major scandal, with the exception of the ladies. And even then, the people repping them. Same thing, small group, man. Small group. The whole Kavanaugh hearing, the lawyer helping out old Blasey Ford. That lawyer chick, man, she's part of the small group. Look at her connections. Look who she's hanging out with the day before. Like, all this stuff, it's a small group. And right there in the center, I believe, is that man. But again, I'm not a critical theorist. I don't believe that there's an immediate, this hypodermic effect on even the control mechanisms that they may have. Which is why it came down to the point where Obama reached out to journalists insisting, you guys got to fight this. I'm in trouble, guys. Yeah, you are. But this is what the Conservative Treehouse says. When Kamala Harris informally launched her bid for the Democratic nomination, she did so in an ABC interview with George Stephanopoulos. This was not accidental. I saw it, but I saw a meme of this Stephanopoulos and Trump, and it was hilarious because it was obviously photoshopped, but at first glance you don't know. And Stephanopoulos looked like he's like 4'5". I mean, I know he's short, but boy, anyway, it's hilarious. I'll have to share that. Harris was a DNC club candidate intended to walk in the shadow of the Obama team. It's true. Obama thought she was hot. Remember he got in trouble for that? Doing that whole ooh la la type thing at her? As a consequence, when the formal campaign was launched, it was coordinated with the Chicago Jussie Smollett fiasco. Remember that? It was manufactured. This is how they roll. These people are all connected. Racial issues are a purposeful political strategy. Yes. Yes, because by and large, without them fueling it, it's not nearly as explosive and volatile as it is when it's constantly being fueled with money. Which, was it? Newt Gingrich brought up Soros on Fox News. Fox News, dude, turn off Fox News. You can turn it back on for Tucker. Don't even watch, maybe, what would you say? Would you guys say Ingram? Or Judge Jeanine? What do you think of them? Okay. Judge Jeanine. Ingram, okay. Whatever. Sean Hannity, no, I gave up. I heard too many TikTok. It's happening. Arrests are going to be made. Baloney, dude. Baloney. The guy's a crony. He's a neocon chameleon. Bless his heart. But turn him off. Newt Gingrich brings up Soros, which is obvious. Soros, back in 2016 when Trump won, Soros had this super secret private meeting with big power players in the Democratic Party, and the journalists weren't allowed there. Details were all mysterious. Because they were going to have a resistance. And lo and behold, dun dun dun! Unfortunately for the club, the Smollett effort backfired, and Harris was never able to exploit the larger racial dynamic deployed by those who organized the AstroTurf effort. They talk about the grievance industry, the black grievance industry, and the two groups that make it up. Group one is the Black Lives Matter group, modern and extremist. Witches. We'll talk about that. Group two is the AME Church Network, more traditional, larger. The BLM group originated during the terms of the Obama administration. The AME network has existed for many decades before. And this is true. A Biden presidency, no matter if it's Harris or Biden, a Biden presidency would be a complete farce. Same thing with Harris. The Obama coalition is in control of everything behind the scenes. All policy would be Obama policy. Specifically because of their importance in triggering the origin of this entire enterprise. The primary policy stakeholders will be the Congressional Black Caucus, the CBC, led by Clyburn. Yes. This is old, man. This is old. The flaw in their strategy is their dependency on black voters to stay away from President Trump. Yeah. Yeah. They thought if they just said Hitler enough, or racist enough, or alt-right enough, almost like black people don't have internet or something. I mean, it's so racist, dude. Like black people can't go and see all the black friends that Trump has had throughout his entire life that gave Trump awards, accolades, great man, all the different things that he's done, and that they don't feel that they don't feel the effect of Trumpism, Maganomics. I mean, that was like pumping steroids right into prosperity in our country. You saw it, you felt it. They felt it. They're entrepreneurial. They don't want the man on their back. They don't want extra regulations. They don't even like taxes. The idea that, no, black people love taxes. No, you're lying, dude. You are lying. As if it doesn't matter. And as if it doesn't matter that there is work. You think that we could have the highest employment rate and the lowest unemployment rate for black people, and they wouldn't feel it? That they wouldn't know it? That they wouldn't love the way that it feels to wake up and know you've got a job and that somebody is responsible, even for the feeling that says, we can do this. Boom, 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 win. I'm telling you. So they were wrong on it. Even Hispanic voters, check this. Hispanic voters support President Trump because his policies actually create results. Again, true. And look, I'm not saying that you're going to get, 50% of either group, but if you look at the percentage that are saying that they support him, it is scaring the ever-living daylights out of the Democrats. Because there's actual hope. So it didn't work. It didn't work. You're going to have to do more, no offense. You're going to have to do more and better than having Kamala in some Timberlands or in a pair of Chucks. Have you seen these? She comes out, man, they have this video where she comes out and it's got music and she's got this swag. She's got her arms going like this and she's like, do. It's cute. Not going to lie. I mean, it's totally cute what she's doing. Pretty, confident, bursting with it. As she waves to people who aren't there. Wave to the imaginary crowd. It wasn't even like at the convention. At least at the convention, there were screens of people, pre-recorded, waving, yeah, and the clap track. If you're out there at the airplane, that's all it is. And you're waving, yo, what's up, buddy? Yeah, nobody's there. Unlike with Trump shows up, place is packed. So they needed something stronger because it's just not working. All the tactics, all the things that they threw at him piece by piece by piece. And now it's all over. They're doing all of it as before and they're heaping it on and heaping it on. And look, right now you need to put a hedge of protection around yourself and your family. We need to pray. I went to confession today. I went to mass this morning. I went to confession today. I love it. I love it. I have this this fear, love, and loathing. Okay? Fear, loathing, and love. Let's put it that way. Of confession. It's hard. But it's so energizing. Walking out of there. Right? You need to put a hedge of protection around yourself because this is like 2016 times about a bazillion. I'm sorry to tell you. All of the ghouls and the goblins are back. Russia. Russia's coming to get you. I was accused of it. I was accused of being a Putin stooge making money from Moscow. I mean, me and Vlad are pretty close. Russia's back. Claims of models. Back in the 1980s, this happened to me. Another unverifiable claim. Another unverifiable claim. Followed, of course, or maybe even preempted by trending things like believe all victims. Believe women. They don't even believe that. They'll rehash it, though. They'll rehash it because they don't believe all women. They don't believe them. Because at least the ones who aren't completely out to lunch, they understand the idea that if somebody makes a claim, you're going to need to actually be able to back that up in some way. Now, that doesn't mean that if you can't back it up, that it didn't happen. I need to be clear about that. Stuff could happen in private that there would be no way for you to actually be able to verify. That is a predicament. But there is a thing called the burden of proof. Somebody has to, and it's not the idea that somebody's just, innocent until proven guilty. I'm not just saying that. The burden of proof that if you make a claim, and for people who deny this, I would love it if they said, that's not true. I don't believe that at all. I would never do this. It would be an evil thing to do. But to take that person and do a campaign that blames them for being a rapist or a child molester and say, oh, well, I'm not a child molester. Have a woman do it. Oh, you don't believe that woman. Oh, got you. Okay, I see your hand. They don't believe all women. Does Harris believe the women that accused Biden? She said it. She brought it up, just like the claims of racism. And then later on with Colbert, she sounded like the most opportunistic freak show in the universe. It was a debate, Stephen. It was a debate. She sounded like Tattoo. What was it, man? Was it Paradise Island? What was it called? The plane. Debate. She doesn't even believe it. But look. Political advisor, former Trump speechwriter Darren, Beatty? Appeared on Tucker Carlson. He talked about this color revolution, and I don't want to go through this too much. You need to go and you need to actually check this out. You need to read this. Big League Politics, Shane Trejo explains the globalist color revolution to oust President Trump on Tucker Carlson. Because it's huge. It's huge. He talks about how the chief characteristics of a color revolution is a combination of an engineered contested election scenario combined with massive mobilized protests. Yes. Tim Pool knows this stuff. He's been covering this. In fact, he's been over in other countries. If you don't know Tim Pool and his work, you got to go check it out. Big deal. He says there are actors in the State Department who are experts in color revolution working against Trump. These individuals have not been purged despite extremely disloyal behavior. He pointed to Brookings Institute senior fellow Norm Eisen. He said he serves as a nexus point between lawfare and mass mobilization. Totally true. Eisen has been behind over 180 lawsuits against Trump. How is that guy still there? Get him out now. Get him out. Drag him by the ears, man. Chuck him. Chuck him in the dumpster. Say, dude, you are gone, brother. Treacherous behavior. Treacherous. He authored 10 articles of impeachment. What the? He was special counsel for Democrats for the impeachment process. He was literally involved in every aspect of this color revolution against Trump to use lawfare in order to overturn the 2020 election. Oh, and look at this. Soros-backed election integrity. And I may not have even finished the whole point about Fox. Newt Gingrich brings up George Soros, what we all know is true. Most awkward moment I think I've seen on Fox News, maybe ever. Maybe ever. No, we're not going to bring up Soros. And he's like, what? He's like, but we all know that's true. And the girl's like, I agree. I don't think we should bring him up at all. In her face. I mean, she's blinking slow. Looking like a goon. Get him out. The Transition Integrity Project. Oh. That's Orwellian. An organization featuring a bipartisan group of Trump haters. We're bipartisan. Is claiming that President Donald Trump will cause violence if he disputes the upcoming election results. Do you not see this? Can't you see this a mile away? You don't need to be a prophet to read this writing on the wall, right? It's not written with a mystical hand. It's written with the paintbrush of Abramovich and the spirit cookers. It's all there. It's gross. They have all these situations that always end up resulting in street violence. So what do? Well, for a long time, they already have a lot of this set, okay? They've been teaching critical race theory and crap like that for a really long time. It's not new. You got this story here. Gateway Pundit. Springfield Public Schools has an Office of Diversity and Inclusion. Anytime you have an Office of Diversity and Inclusion, you know that the people in that place are bad news. They need to go. If you ever want to cut any kind of funding to any place or institution or facility, look at an office that says diversity and inclusion and just hack it. Just hack it. They're not valuable. They aren't valuable. What they bring to the table is so disruptive, it's actually self-destructive. The people that run the show of this are utopian crazy people that believe through annihilating themselves and you and everything else that somehow, magically, all the good will come about. It's voodoo. Satanic voodoo. I mean, look at this. Yeah, you think that this is good? What do you think this is going to bring? Type of oppression. Racism, privileged social group, white people. Border social groups, biracial, meaning you're kind of on the edge. You aren't all the way our color. Oppressed social groups, Asian, Black, Latina, Native people. Oh, you didn't spell it with an X. Sexism, male assigned at birth. Let's go down just the privileged group. White people, male assigned at birth. Dude, assigned at birth. That language is so weird. And cuckoo pant. Diversifiers are crazy. Don't let them use language like this. I mean, it's like pseudoscientific people. They use these fancy words that they make up, right? It's what it is. It's a pseudoscience. It's not real. Gender conforming cis men. So, okay, so straight white males. Oh, gotcha. Heterosexuals. Oh, got it. Rich upper class people for classism. I can kind of agree with that. There's a privilege to that. Yeah. You have more money. There's a certain kind of privilege, and there's also a certain kind of terror that comes with that. Spiritual. Ask Jesus. Able-bodied people. For ableism. Yes, dude. Able-bodied people. Yes. Obviously. Again, I've said this before. Why is it that even when they talk about, maybe Batman should be black? Why don't they say fat? And if they do say fat, why don't they say The person who's 800 pounds and bedridden. You ableist piece of garbage. You wouldn't allow an 800-pound slob. And she's an Eskimo. With freckles. And a lesbian. They don't even believe this. Religious oppression, Protestants. Roman Catholic, they're on the border. The oppressed group, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, Sikhs. Depends on where you are. Ageism, adults. Adults have ageism. And land acknowledgments. Look at this. Do you think they're not trying to literally destroy who you are and what you're about? A land acknowledgement is a formal statement that recognizes and respects Native and Indigenous peoples as traditional stewards of this land. Who doesn't believe that Native Americans were here before us? Who doesn't believe this? You can't talk about Columbus and the Pilgrims and colonialism and also not realize that there were people here that we call Native Americans. Traditional stewards of the land and the enduring relationships between Native and Indigenous peoples and their traditional territories. Maybe that's fine, but I mean, look, the rubber hits the road at some point where you simply say, just because your group believes that they have a spiritual connection to the land, there's an idea that, like, where do you draw the line on that? How many people does it take? And if so, can the Europeans kick out everybody who's not European? Why is it that when you talk about Brexit, the same people who talk about this stuff are the ones who say, it's xenophobic? Cognitive dissonance through the roof. It makes my head feel like it's going to explode. Oh, as you begin your training, they want to acknowledge that. Gotcha. So they have the backdrop of this, trying to not only teach this stuff, there's a positive and a negative with this, you know, so it's kind of like tucked in with school, and now it's just gone full-blown crazy pant negative. We're going to destroy you and your people, your traditions and your culture, your heritage and your heroes, and you better not say anything. No melanin, no opinion. You hear me? White guy. Cishet. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. You hear me? Screw around and find out. Joe Biden says voting will make the pandemic go away. And you know what? So you've got this. You've got the situation where it's not just the issues about critical race theory and the idea that all the people, the majority of Americans, by the way, the people who traditionally are related to the founders of this country and the civilization and the cultures that were present and that created the modern world, they're taught to be ashamed of it. And one of those things is the idea of masculinity and femininity. That needs to go away. Modesty, gotta go away. Parenting, nuclear family, gotta bust it up. This is all part of it. This is why they don't care. But none of it's worked. None of it's worked. Because there's a backlash. I say it at the end of the show. There's a backlash to this. People can only take so much. We're seeing it now. So they make these promises. I mean, just think about this for a second. Postmillennial.com. Jill Biden says voting will make this pandemic go away in an official party tweet. Will Twitter label it as misinformation? No. No. They won't do that because they're not doing it to Michigan, to Big Birch, and her absolutely abysmal head of the Department of Health and Human Services. They're not canceling that person. They're not deleting those tweets. They're not putting under there any kind of disclaimer about the World Health Organization. None of that. Because it's collusion. Remember, these are the boo-hoo wah-wah people. These are the bubble blowing and Play-Doh rolling whack jobs from 2016. Watching the results, jaw to the floor. If you haven't seen the Young Turks, their meltdown, go watch it, man. After this show, go watch that. Because that was it's like a microcosm, macrocosm. What happened on that show, what you see and what you hear. The hubris, the arrogance at the beginning, the rationalization toward the middle, the dread toward the end, and the absolute bitter, venomous hatred at the finale. Never gone away. Never gone away. It's just gotten worse. Look what they're doing. Banning conversation. Senior fellow at the Hoover Institute has spoken out consistently against the mass hysteria surrounding COVID, and there's tons of it. They censored it. A Hoover video in which he was speaking out about the lies peddled by the medical establishment during the pandemic. And if you don't think that there have been lies, let me tell the way. Let me tell the way. Let's see here. Forgot to put them in a proper order. Look at this. There we go. There we go. Look at this. It should be obvious by now that Dr. Fauci is insane. Quack doctor says anonymous sex is okay, but no movies until after the vaccine. This is today. Look at this guy. You can tell he's a kook. Look at him. Look at his face. Look at his face. Worse yet, let's look at his record. 1. Dr. Fauci says he warned Trump in January that the U.S. was in real trouble, but that's not what he said publicly. Because in January, Dr. Fauci told Newsmax TV that the United States, quote, did not have to worry about the coronavirus and that it was, quote, not a major threat. Wow, that's neat. There it is. Look, you can go back and watch. Number 2, Dr. Fauci warned of an apocalyptic coronavirus pandemic. Then just weeks later, he compared the coronavirus to a bad flu. I'm telling you, this is straight up PSYOP stuff, guys. Dr. Fauci based all his predictions on the garbage IHME models that were off by millions. So, like, if somebody says, well, how much were you off by? Only like maybe 1.8 million. Really? Are you kidding me? 1.9 maybe. Oh, get him out. Trump did. Now they just use him kind of like, as a foil a little bit. And he said this, you can't rely on models. But that's what he was doing. Do you not remember this? This is all part of the scam. Remember the whole hydroxychloroquine? The controversy about that, where he said, oh, yeah, don't, I wouldn't be so optimistic about that. Exactly 2 weeks later, the drug was deemed the most highly rated treatment for the novel coronavirus in an international poll of more than 6,000 doctors. Yet the whole time, Dr. Fauci pushes these models. So does the media. And they don't just push it. They require you to agree. And if you don't, they're going to put a little disclaimer. They might even remove your stuff. They might even take your video off. A month ago, Dr. Fauci claimed 1 million to 2 million Americans would die. Then he said 100,000 to 200,000. 3 weeks ago, he agreed that 81,766 Americans would die. That's a weird number. Then by that Wednesday, the experts cut the number of deaths down to 60,415 projected deaths. Remember this. Fauci said cruises were okay. That's like de Blasio, man. That's like Pelosi. Come on down to the Chinese parade. Fauci said that malls and movies and gyms were okay. Last one I'll mention, because we could go on forever. On April 15th, Fauci endorses Tinder hookups. Yeah, well, you can't necessarily intrude on people. It's their body. There's risk assessments. And you can determine it for yourself. Yes! That's why you should go to work! That's why the idea... Look, all their logic, over and over and over, their logic, if they allowed it to apply consistently, it would have allowed tons of freedom, accepting risk. Which is normal. Not some new normal. Normal. Yeah, you can go and you can have sex with randos. Have sex with random people? Hey, you're in my area. What's up? So you see it. You see that they needed to use tons of different things. In the end, the cure was worse than the virus. Gateway Pundit. For the record, the coronavirus, COVID-19, has killed 0.058% of the population. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention said last week that there have been 175,866 deaths involving COVID. Of those, 139,000, and think about this, listen close, 139,009 were 65 years old or older. That's 79% of the deaths. Add in Americans 55 to 64, and the elderly's share of the fatalities rises to 91.7%. The percentage of deaths that are 34 years old and younger, 0.99. Percentage of deaths. To be clear, the virus is a danger to older Americans and those with pre-existing conditions. The CDC said this month that 94% of people killed by the virus had other health conditions that contributed to their death. But the cure, lockdowns, layoffs, stress, anxiety, worse than the virus. A majority of Americans ages 18 to 34, that's 56%, say they have at least sometimes felt isolated in the past month, understatement, compared with about 4 in 10 older Americans, according to the latest COVID response tracking study conducted by the NORC at the University of Chicago. At least half of all households in 4 major cities report facing serious financial problems, including depleted savings, problems paying credit card bills, and affording medical bills. The number of people looking for divorce was 34% higher from March through June compared to 2019. The death cult doesn't care about that number, by the way. They don't care. The data showed that 31% of the couples admitted that lockdown has caused irreparable damage to their relationships. And check this out. This is crazy. Researchers from the universities of Oxford and Manchester find this hidden problem, this idea of violence of children against parents, that it's intensifying during the pandemic, with the number of violent episodes skyrocketing by 70%. Social workers are reporting a 69% uptick in referrals for families that suffer with children or adolescent to parent violence. They believe the severity and the incidence of this is happening at a greater rate. Then there's alcohol and drug abuse. In June, it was reported that alcohol sales had risen 27%. And according to reports by the Overdose Detection Mapping Application Program, drug overdoses increased 42% in May alone. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So whether it's Black Lives Matter, whether it's critical race theory, whether it's Russia, whether it's PP-gate, Ukraine, you name it, anything that's been thrown at the president, and all of the stuff right now that's being thrown at the president, all at the same time, coronavirus, all of it at the same time, falling apart. Falling apart. But look at the reaction to this. Vandal behead statue of Jesus in El Paso Cathedral because it had the wrong skin color. That's his quote. That's his quote. Look at this. The city council that approved abolishing police asked the question, where are the police? Because it's all falling apart. It's like sand. Going between their fingers. And all they can hear in the distance is, woo, woo, Trump train. That's what they hear. And it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're hearing the chugga 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 chugga. And they hear it and they're freaking out. But they have to remain calm. They have to try and say, well, yeah, we've been supporting the police the entire time. Really? It wasn't a week ago. What's the best quote here? The Minneapolis City Council is freaking out because all these people are complaining about this huge increase in crime, and people are like, where are the cops? And now these council members are basically complaining because the cops ain't showing up. But here's what's hilarious. At least the 4th Ward council member, Philip Cunningham, expressed surprise that council members who had so recently supported doing away with the police department were now calling on the police to be doing more. He suggested the focus should instead be on using money taken from the police budget to hire violence interrupters. Oh my gosh. And put them in place to prevent crime in the first place. They're utopian. They don't even understand human nature. We're gonna use the money because we're gonna make people stop beating people up. It's an all or nothing. It's a whole enchilada thing. They would sit there and say, "Well, we gave them the program on how to be nice. Why aren't they being nice?" That's kind of like schools. If schools say, look, here's a bunch of STDs. We don't want you to have sex with random people. And Tinder comes. Ooh, what? It's Donkey Kong country out there. Hide your kids. So they're trying. And they have to deal with the craziness. Here's an example of them trying to maintain their cool. Because it's not working. Because it's not a hypodermic needle. Embarrassing. Democrats hold car parade for Jill Biden. Joe's at home, by the way. He's still taking a nap. What is he doing at home? What is wrong with him? Only a handful of cars show up. There's like 4 cars. Look at these boots. Look at those boots there. Has anyone figured out what she's the doctor in exactly? I think these are the cars. I think those are like the cars that were there. There were hardly any cars at all. And there's a video somewhere of Trump. When he shows up, man, there's boats, boat parades, car parades, people waiting at the airport all over the place. Trump ain't waving at empty airports. But they have to. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. Look at it. I mean, think about what it means if one candidate has tons of people packing places out, even in the midst of a pandemic, even in the midst of it, even with all of the pressures, even with all the ways that the media and that various institutions have maligned them. And these are all the people that show up, even after our country has been entirely taken captive institutionally by critical race theory, whether it's the big tech. We were all forced inside. Tons of people were watching over and over. And if you went on Amazon, if you went on YouTube, if you went on Facebook, if you went on Twitter, if you went on Google, it didn't matter where you went. You were completely inundated. They were baptizing you. They were baptizing you in their cult. Their PSYOP cult. But they didn't win. This is how bad it is. And this ain't surprising. Okay? This ain't surprising. Not when you know about spirit cooking, Bohemian Grove. Not when you know how the elite work. I was just showing a friend of mine, there's a video. Was he Swedish, this banker that talks about having been kind of introduced to this elite club. And it's all eyes wide shut stuff. I mean, it is. But it involves, I believe, sacrificing kids. After, of course, doing them. He's bawling. Weeping. BLM co-founder, LA chapter leader, discusses group's occultic practice of invoking spirits. And look, unsurprising that so many of these jellyfish people out there that fell prey to seeker sensitivity, the wiles of folks like Mother Joy, that they would fall for this crap. How could you not know that this was satanic? Tell your friends. Let them know. Share it with them. Share this with them. I'll make a video just out of this. Just out of this. I'll make a video. I'll share it on Paleocrat. You got to make a video out of it. You got to share it. Far and wide. BLM co-founder, LA chapter leader, discuss groups' occult practices of invoking spirits and African ancestral worship. Here we go. In an interview posted to social media, Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors, along with BLM Los Angeles co-founder Melina Abdullah, discussed the spiritual component of the movement. Yeah, man. explaining the practices and rituals performed to remember and invoke the spirits of the deceased African Americans. We speak their names. And you kind of invoke that spirit. And then their spirits actually become present with you. That's straight divination witchcraft, man. This was at Fowler Museum at UCLA. In my tradition, you offer things that your loved one who passed away would want, whether it's honey or tobacco or things like that. An ancestor altar. It's so important, not just for us to be in direct relationship to our people who've passed, but also for them to know we've remembered them. Now look, that sounds kind of Catholic-y a little bit. We have saints. There's a direct connection with this. The Holy Ghost. We ask for their prayers. Why would we not honor the people who've been stolen from us and are asking for us to fight for them? Colors asked. They want us to remember them because they know what it takes for them to be remembered. Look, I can agree with some of that. But they say even in using hashtags, they are, quote, literally almost resurrecting the spirit so they can work through us to get the work done. They pour libations. They talk about how they learned about the rituals feeding their spirit. I feel like so many leaders and so many organizers are deeply engaged in a pretty important spiritual practice. This was in an article, Colors cited it, an article published by the Berkeley Center for Religion, Peace, and World Affairs entitled, "The Fight for Black Lives is a Spiritual Movement." The movement for Black Lives, this is a quote, infuses a syncretic blend of African and indigenous cultures, spiritual practices, and beliefs. Yeah, dude, straight witchcraft. Shamanistic stuff, man. It's crazy. They're full-trained Marxists, of course. And look at this. I'll show you this. We're coming up on the end, by the way. Right there. That right there, I believe, is Colors doing a very strange, LARPy-looking satanic ritual of some kind. I mean, look at this. And she's doing prayers and writing down names and raising them up and wearing this weird-looking cape thing. Glistening silver pants. You can read about this at christiannews.net. But there's a backlash. The backlash is obvious. Disney actress lists pronouns as beep, bop, boop, and the internet freaks out. What's this one? Carolina Panthers Spanish language broadcaster resigns after team seeks to censor his support of Donald Trump. Go read it. It's a backlash. Let's see this here. What's this one? Pastor Daryl Scott, Trump has done more for the black community than any other president in my lifetime. It's a backlash. Here's Daryl Scott's book, by the way. Nothing to Lose. Unlikely Allies in the Struggle for a Better Black America. Yeah. Okay. Now look at this. Okay. What the heck is this? We're going to go ahead and just get this thing off of here. Oh. So, as you can see, time after time after time, they have this utopian plan, this mega plan. It's going to work if we just control enough of the levers. Blah. If we just tell them enough, and if we can control the environment of each person, we can mold them as we want. No, you can't. It's not a hypodermic needle. Let me see this thing. We got to figure this one out. Hold on. Let me see. What's up? Oh, hold on. Yeah, meme time. There we go. Look at this. It's okay. Got a whole bunch of memes, so I don't want to. Actually, hold on a second. This is the new thing. I said at the beginning that there was going to be a brand new thing. Let's go ahead and let's see here. Give me a second, because this is the original template that I was using. Okay. So if I go here, let's see. May have to do a new window capture, which is perfectly fine. You're gonna love this. It's kind of a cool thing. My wife, she works super hard on it, and she's a hard worker. Okay. She's a hard worker. Let me go ahead and just add here. Window capture. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You'll dig it. Here we go. Okay. Boom. Oh, hold on. So window capture. Hold on, I got to get down there. There we go. Boom. Ah, look at this. I am so sorry. Oh, I'm so grateful that you guys are so generous. Oh, look at that. I'm in this circle. Check this out. Does that look fancy or what? It's not as intrusive. I wanted to make it so that it wasn't as intrusive and you guys could see more of the memes. Okay? I'm running out of battery somehow. I'm at 44%. This is not good, folks. This is not good. There's a lot of things coming at me. There's a lot of things coming at me all at the same time. And you know what? It's okay. Number one, there's a lot of shows ahead. Every single Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. And I shall get better at this. I promise you. I promise you. I'm just glad you're along for the ride. I am glad you are along for the ride. Okay? But I love this, man. My wife put this together. I just think it looks cool. Does that look cool or what, man? Let my wife know in the comments, okay? I don't know if she's in the comment section, because this is all over the place. This is in a whole bunch of different places at the same time. All right? Now, here's some memes. Check this out. And this is true. I mean, look at the way this plays itself out, okay? And a lot of these do play into kind of the things that we've been talking about. So, defund the police. This is Antifa here. Yeah, defund the police so we can terrorize anyone we want without prevention. And then here, gun owners. Gun owners no longer prevented from using lethal force by the police. Yeah. But that's true, and that's exactly what's happening. That's why Minneapolis is freaking out. That's exactly why. And look, if you want to share memes of your own, if you like memes and everything like that, and you would like to share them with me or stories, make sure to email me. You can do that at paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. So, look at this. Just a reminder that obesity kills way more people than gun violence. Well, that is true. But there's still no march to end it. Yeah. Which ironically would very literally help end it. Okay. Yeah. Ironically, yes. That's true. Okay. Substance abuse has many forms. Dude, is that for real? Hold on. Let's see. What the heck is this? Look at this. Look at that. That's like the picture I saw a while ago of a lady eating some ketchup outside. It was hot outside or something. Oh, yeah. This makes me sad, though. I'm not, I don't look like this, but I'm definitely not skinny at all. I'm working on it. Doing the carnivore diet, feeling good about it. Riding bike, although the last week has been kind of hard, baby and stuff. Excuse me. What the heck is this? I am so sorry. Oh my gosh. Oh, okay, it's big. I'm not fat, I've got big bones. What the heck? What is wrong with you people? Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I don't mean to. Dude, what is going on? There's a lot of these fat ones. It's diabetes and coronary artery disease. Can you rephrase that in body positive terms? How would you do that, by the way? How would you do that? If you told somebody, look, man, you got diabetes, coronary artery disease, it's looking pretty bad for you. How would you put that in body positive terms? Oh, no. How many of these are there? You're seriously going to takes breath? Just tell me to, okay. Let me start this over. Okay, I get it now. I get it. You're seriously going to just tell me to lose weight instead of actually prescribing me something for my various health issues? Who's this guy? I don't understand some of this. I'm a little bit aloof. I like memes, but I'm aloof. Okay, no. Is that I don't know if I should show that. I don't know what that is. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look right, does it? This thing kind of, what is up? You people are sick. You people are messed up. When the person you became meets the person you could have become. Oh, that's just rude. But yeah, it's true. It's how I feel right now. Yeah. Okay, we're away from. Yeah, cause I don't just want to be making fun of the fat stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I do feel badly about that because I'm working on it myself. We talked about that in another episode. Due to COVID-19, we're asking rioters to work at home and destroy their own stuff. Yeah, totally true. Look at meme masters. There's a bunch of these. Homie on his 9th life, he ain't taking no chances. What the heck? What's this? What is it? Is that as big as this gets? How do I get that? Oh, come on. Really? Yeah, I guess that's as big as it gets. Let's see. I can zoom this bugger up. Oh my gosh. Okay. Is that real, man? Oh, this is definitely real. Here, look at this. When you in a restaurant and already coughed twice and know if you do it again, everyone will look. It's totally true, man. I'm afraid everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, man. Diabetic man gets hit by car and dies from COVID. Come on, what is wrong with you people? Oh. Dude, okay, how many of these fat memes are there? I wear a mask because I care about my health. Dude, look at how she's hoarding that food. Yeah, I don't want to read. I'm running out of 40% here. I don't even know. I'm hoping it doesn't just go away. If it does, I'm going to be super sad. I'm at 40%. My computer, whoo, it's cooking right now. So I won't read ones that have a whole bunch of words, but this one looks kind of cool. Bravo. Black Lives Matter was founded by Marxists. Okay. I'm sitting there thinking, what the heck? Yeah, look at this. Look at the first letter of each word. Okay, I got you. I got you. Oh, this is real. This is a legit deal. Look at this. Look at how this plays out. This is totally true. Cancel culture's like, Aunt Jemima, what? Land O'Lakes butter. Oh, you better take that off right now. Oh, Cuties. Oh, great movie. Portland woman accused of rioting. Okay, man, that is not right. Yeah, another cutie one. Yep. Netflix, Gone with the Wind. Cuties. Okay. Before marijuana. Calm, sleepy doggo is peaceful, none troubles. After 3 marijuana. Margiona. Angry. Mean, angry doggo. None do him like. Has to run from Popo. Look at his face. Oh my gosh, look at his face. And look at this. Oh, that is great. Yeah, these things are all the time. You know, I've seen these, like expectation reality. I think a lot of these are just rigged though. They're just set up. This is a serious deal. Look at this. Fire hydrants. You know, where you don't really know what's up. Like this one down here. It's got that little thing. You're like, yeah, see this? It's like, oh, I don't know. When you look something up on Amazon and suddenly it shows up as an ad on every app. I just had that recently. That's a real thing. The girl in the middle, she won. What? Miss Helsinki. Against the other two? No. Prove it. Show people go look that up, man. Is that real? Based on a real story. The movie. Yeah, that's all the time too. That's that Zuckerberg thing. Yeah, I saw that. Perception. This is a real deal. I sadly, I know a lot of people who do this. You know, you see pictures like that and you're like, dang. And you see pictures like that and like, whoa. I'll call it here. We'll call it quits. We'll call it quits with this because I don't know how long this computer battery is going to hold out. I need a new one. I can use the Putin money. I'll use the Putin money. Let's see here. Whoa. Let's go ahead and get that out of there here. I don't want everybody to see behind the scenes and know what's going on. So I got to go to this chat app here and see what's up with this. Open in browser. Yeah. I don't know if it's even, is it even going to let me see the different chat rooms? Is it even going to let me see it? I don't even know if it will. That's devastating. That's devastating. I must not have set it up, man. That's so terrible. Well, look, what I'll do is this. I don't even know how that happened. What the heck, man? What the heck? Because normally I'd have a whole bunch. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in, by the way. Totally appreciate it. So look, what I'll do, I got a couple more minutes. Here. Okay. So we'll see if there's any other chats. And again, I apologize sincerely. I sincerely apologize for not only the mix-up early on, or not only for this, but also for the mix-up early on. That was a big bummer. Okay? That really bummed me out. I started late. There were problems with the audio. There was problems. But you know, so it's kind of like the world right now, right? It's kind of like the world right now. There's tons of things going on. Things a little bit outside your control. And a lot of those things outside your control can really rile you up and make you mad and make you confused and frustrated and feel like there's nothing you can do. But the truth is, you got to focus. I wasn't focused. There were things that I overlooked. And look, I could have been focused, but yet wasn't looking wide enough. And we need to widen that scope. Take more in. If we've made a mistake, admit it. Admit that we've made the mistake. And vow not to do it again. It's like confession. You know, I got some flack last time on the show from a guy who was saying that the show is not a Catholic show. And you know what? I should just say it right now. In fact, I will. If you're hanging on right now and you're listening to this, I want to make this abundantly clear. Is that, you know, there's a lot of shows out there that are exclusively Catholic. I mean, almost everything they talk about, even when they talk about politics, is exclusively from the view of like, well, what would the church say about this right now? In using that language. Okay? I don't. That informs me. But this is not a Catholic show. It is a Catholic man hosting a show. So to that degree, it's Catholic. But I don't believe, like, I think there's a problem when it comes to art and music. And this is an art form. It is. It's not just informing people. It's an art form. It's a skill and a talent. It's a craft that you have to work on over time. And there's a group out there that kind of treats it like the Christian music industry. I know people, I grew up in a world where people were like, look, you should only listen to Christian music. And by Christian music, they meant like the tribe, right? You listen, it's a reservation mentality. I don't buy into that. And I don't buy into that on anything. I said that on the last episode. I don't buy into this idea that every piece of artwork somewhere on it has to have a Jesus-y symbol. I don't believe it has to have that to glorify God. You can draw a beautiful landscape, and you don't have to have a cross in it. You can draw anything you want. You can draw a bazillion different situations and scenes to the glory of God. Doesn't have to have a rosary in it. Same thing with the show. Now look, I talk about my faith, and I talk about the Catholic Church far more than let's say mainstream political shows. Okay? But at the same time, there are other programs. Taylor Marshall, Timothy Gordon, Catholic Economics, Trad Dads, Meaning of Catholic, Tim Flanders, a lot of the stuff on Holy Faith TV, Catholic Media, and all of that is awesome. I watch a lot of that stuff. But I'm not limited to this. Good News Bear. Let's see this here. Hold on a second. I'll get you on the screen, buddy. Look at this. Let's see this guy. Oh, it's up at the top. Are you serious? We'll go ahead and drop this down. Yeah. Transition. There. That's better. I can help you with that Catholic thing. That's a doctrine of men, not the doctrine of Jesus Christ in the Bible. You got your Bible from that. Dude, you got the wrong guy, brother. You got the wrong guy, brother. Now you should go check out my channel. I got a bunch of videos that just destroy that. I got videos that talk about Catholic apologetics, the relativism of the Protestant position. The Bible was not only assembled by the Catholic Church, it was preserved by the Catholic Church. Its home is in the Catholic Church. And we're the only institution not only that was given the keys, which is super duper important because there's major differences between Protestant churches. And I don't want to go too far into this, but it's true. I mean, if you bring it up, I'll talk about it. It's true. There's differences between different Protestant churches, right? And those different groups, when they disagree, they all say, well, go back and read the Bible. You could take people like John MacArthur and R.C. Sproul. R.C. Sproul's gone now, but you could take the two of them. They were buddies. And they didn't even have a way to agree with each other on baptism. Was it a sacrament? Was it an ordinance? Is it believer baptism only? Is it infant baptism? They couldn't even agree on one faith, one Lord, one baptism. And you could go, look, this is how it would play out. This is how it would play out. Okay? Is that you could have somebody, you could say, look, you have two guys sincere, okay? Really sincere in their heart about what they believe. And you say, all right, well, let's go, and we disagree with each other on believer baptism. We need to go, and we're going to dedicate the next year to studying it, and we're going to pray about it and ask God to guide us, and when we come back, we're going to talk about it. And let's say they do. And let's say they actually agree with each other. And they go out to the world and they say, look, everybody, we both agree. It's a sacrament and it's infant baptism. Do you think that the Baptists and the Pentecostals are going to go, oh, okay, these guys went and prayed for a year? No. Yeah, man. Yeah, thank you very there, Peter Tan. It breaks my heart that I can't see the comments leading up to this because I'm confident that there were good ones. And look, I'll say this, okay? Because this is breaking my heart. I'm genuinely sad about this. Okay? I'm genuinely sad because I love, I was actually talking to Jonathan, my manager, right? He's the big dog over there at Holy Faith TV, right? Catholic Media. Big dog guy. And we were talking, and he's like, we kind of were debating the issue about comments. And I like it. I used to get phone calls all the time. If I could figure out how to get live phone calls, and I know you can do that with Periscope, okay? I would love to do it. I'd love to get live calls. I'd like to have a call screener, but I'd love to get live calls. Okay? Be great. So it definitely breaks it breaks my heart. Okay? And it breaks my heart that I got to go. It does. But this is my promise to you. Look, I'll go ahead. Let's put up this split screen here at the end. I'll get out of this. There we go. Transition. Boom. Okay. Make sure if you want to follow me, Paleocratdiaries.com. That's going to be the new mega hub. Okay. That's going to be beginning. We'll start today. Why not? We'll start right now. Starting right now. We'll go ahead and make it so that Paleocrat Diaries is the hub. And you can go there on a regular basis, and I won't let you down. I won't let you down. Make sure to subscribe. You'll see the whole thing here in just about a minute or so. When I play the ending, it goes through and it talks about not only how to subscribe so that you get the updates every time and notifications that I'm going to go live, but more than that, it connects you with the ability that if you would like for me to come, do interviews, speeches, even debates, like that Good News Bear guy, he's still at it. Protestants with a D aren't following Jesus. Okay, well, we're in a different universe. You're in a different universe, man. Good News Bear. Yeah, you got to be a troll, man. I don't even know if you're real. But then again, I've talked to people who claim to be Jesus. So maybe you're one of those. Maybe you're one of those that you are the Lord. I've dealt with them. But if you would like speeches, interviews, right? And to be interviewed on this show or to have me on yours, doesn't matter. If you'd like to collaborate, I'd love to talk to you. I got plans at my sleeves. Interviews in the, kind of coming your way. Been doing a lot of great work trying to put this together. And if you'd like debates, I'm down. I'm down with debating different topics. We'd have to talk about it. And the easiest way to do that, you can, of course, set that up. You can go to paleocratdiaries.com, as you see on your screen. Or you can reach out to me. And look, Good News Bear, you can reach out to me and you can tell me all about your cult. You can do that by sending it to paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. Okay? I anticipate hearing from you. If you've got memes, articles you'd like for me to share, books you'd like for me to read. I'm reading one right now my buddy wrote. Great book. Can't wait to see it published. Okay, he's pitching it to people. He's going to. I'm going through it line by line. It's about converting to Catholicism. It's an awesome, awesome, awesome book. Maybe Good News Bear would want a copy. And others. But make sure if you want to reach out to me, the best way, paleocratdiaries@gmail.com. As you can see, we have a Facebook page, an Instagram that's pretty inactive, and a Twitter account that I'm recently returning to. And you can check out my work at Paleo Cheese Podcast. It's completely different from this. There's, we don't get really deep ever into politics and stuff like that, but we do talk about different situations and the ethics involved in that. We talk about movies. We talk about symbolism, books, music, you name it. So it's a really cool show. It's with one of my best friends in all the world. His name is Chad Lutsky. He's a great author, the writer of some of my all-time favorite books. In fact, Skullface Boy is in probably my top 10 fiction books of all time. I absolutely love his book, Skullface Boy. So make sure to check out Paleo Cheese Podcast. You can do that, youtube.com/paleocheese. And then Meaning of Catholic. Okay, Meaning of Catholic. I'm going to be, once we start cranking up the .com, I'm going to start doing stuff with him. I actually talked to him today. He called about the baby. And by the way, the baby's doing great. Wolfgang Phoenix is awesome. Amazing dude. Super dark hair. Looks like mama. Eyes has that almond shape to it. Absolutely just a gorgeous boy. And so, but Tim called me and we talked for a little bit and just had a great time. We're trying to figure out when we're going to get on together next. It's going to be close. It's going to be soon. And so make sure, again, last time, go to paleocratdiaries.com. You absolutely have to do it. That's where you're going to be kept up to date with everything that's going to be going on from tonight, right now, forward. Paleocratdiaries.com. I'll see you next time. What is today? Thursday. I'll see you Saturday night. Okay, 10 p.m. to midnight. It's been a lot of fun. Have a great evening, everybody. Have a great night's sleep. I'll see you Saturday. Memento Mori. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.